we haven't had the conversations that you might have had with other members on the board. There's so many things here that need to get addressed. I appreciate the studies. I appreciate the time. But the fact is, our downtown is hurting. There are projects that are being done. This commission has taken a proactive approach towards revitalizing downtown. But let's face it, if I were doing your presentation, I'd have left the 1976 slide up there for at least a minute, so that it can get clear, so that people can understand. A raise has been a long time coming, but it hasn't gotten done. Eventually, I've been sitting here for 11 years, and I know that there's things that were coming that needed to get done. Okay, we voted to lower taxes 1 year, but then we had to raise the following. Because the demand is different every year. We haven't had an increase, but yet at this time, we cannot honestly tell the people of the city of Brownsville, we have a downtown that can sustain 75 cents. Because I come downtown for purchases on certain things. Okay? But they're not what is in downtown San Antonio. They're not what's in downtown Houston. It's because it's at a cheaper price. Parking's free at the mall. You know, you go to Sunrise Mall and you park for free. And that's where you're getting all your high-end retail stuff. Let's face it. Ask everybody in this room. I know you're here for something else, but this is something you should be speaking out on, not just two people. For the people that are sitting in here, you should be coming up here and speaking your piece, because you need to be heard, because this will affect you when you come to the downtown area to buy the cheap things that we use for our everyday lives. How many of us don't? I do it. I come by, one of the main things that I come by is my heats for the cucarachos, because it does work. So I come use that, and I use that all around my house. I come to the Chinitos. My ex-wife comes and buys, all the time. We come to downtown because there's a lot of things that are at a cheaper price that we can get. That's why we come. We as a city, and I'll say this on behalf of previous city commissions, we as a city have tried to revitalize downtown. It's a work in process. Over the last 5 years, we're moving ahead. We're moving at a lot faster pace than we were many years ago. But to come by and say, we're going to go at 60 cents, we're going to go by and then increase to 75 cents later on. It's just like Robert said, guarantee me that you're going to build the multi-level parking. Guaranteed. We have one that's coming up. Okay, one is going to go up. But you're right, we do need three. Three is what we need exactly, and that will draw. But yet, your project where you say you want these funds to go doesn't tell me multi-level. Doesn't tell me a multi-level parking. We have a variety of projects that we can choose. But it doesn't say where we can go out for multi-parking. This community is in very much need, and Mr. Kettler and I have had this conversation over the last at least 5-6 years. This community is in desperate need of going down for a bond election. But that bond election needs to be prepared correct. And the citizens need to be told exactly what that money is going to be used for. Now, my proposal, when it comes time after we close, I guess we'll close public hearing and then I can take a stab at it or whatever the wishes of the commission.
If everybody's through commenting, we will entertain a motion to
close public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I'm going to make a motion that we go to 50 cents. Not give it a time limit as far as it's going to be permanent, but yet in the future still willing to work with you to go to 50 cents. Not say 3 years, but just say as the commission, whatever commission is sitting might see fit to go to an increase, be it that it merits it. But that we go to 50 cents. I am in agreement with helping out people at $30 a month. That I will not argue, but my motion must also say that it's not going to go into a personal fund. The money is going to stay in the general fund. That's my motion.
What was the fund was supposed to be for in the general fund or not?
No.
It's going to go into the downtown revitalization?
Yeah.
So you're,
My motion is for it to go at 50 cents an hour, for it to go at $30 for a parking permit for employees downtown, and that the money remain in the general fund.
I have a question. Ramiro, you did mention, I believe, that the fund would be developed to be overseen, or rather the projects that would come out of that fund would be decided on in large part by actual merchants and people who have vested interests downtown.
Yeah, the idea, we visited with legal, and because this ordinance is dealing with parking meters, we didn't want to, it kind of opened up some doors that we didn't want to. What we thought about is we'll bring this ordinance before you, and then we'll bring either a resolution or something else that establishes that committee that will oversee these funds. And the idea is to have downtown stakeholders, landowners, business owners, people that are interested in downtown. I want to work with legal on the makeup of that committee and how that would look. But that is the idea, that once this downtown fund is created, if it is approved, then there would be a committee that would look at how this money is best dispersed or spent.
And I do like that portion of the ordinance, because people that are using the parking are investing in downtown, and that funding will be decided not by the general fund, but by people, merchants, property owners, people that have a vested interest in downtown. And that's part of the ordinance that I like very much.
So just as a clarification, the creation of the fund is in the ordinance. The creation of the committee is not, because we didn't want to put it in this ordinance, but we will work to bring it
I understand.
in front of you.
We already have what we call a motor vehicle parking system fund, and all the monies from the parking meters and the people that pay for overparking goes into that fund already. The collections are being done by municipal court. Municipal court is being funded by the general fund. We are currently, like he mentioned earlier, we're currently just subsidizing still the parking meter fund, because the parking meter fund is not generating enough revenues to pay for the employees that are being paid out of the parking meter fund. But we already have what we call a motor vehicle parking system fund.
so Pete, would I be correct? I'm trying to get to a consensus here. If it goes to the general fund, is it basically, if you go up to 50 cents, would you be possibly just cutting out even, and you're still not getting any money into the downtown revitalization? Would that be where you're going to be at? I mean, in all reality, what I'm saying to you is, let's get to a real solution here. And I think people are trying to get to all the people that are interested in this issue. But it seems to me that at the raise of from 25 to 50 cents under the possible rate that we got now, we're arguing about no money that's going to the revitalization anyway. Is that right?
There will be some, but not that much, Mayor, based on 25 cents.
Okay. Do you have any suggestion, Pete, as to how, in other words, if you have any overage after you get that fund, whatever overage is there, could that be funneled into more directed towards the downtown?
The motor vehicle fund currently is about $310,000. That's how much we make off just meters, not tickets, just meters. And usually it's about $10,000 or $20,000 that subsidizes that motor vehicle fund that Mr. Gonzalez is discussing. What the ordinance states is that any revenue above $350,000 goes into a downtown revitalization fund. I believe what Mr. Longoria is saying, the elimination of the revitalization fund, and it'll strictly mean that the revenue to the motor vehicle fund will increase by whatever amount it increases, with a 50-cent increase under his motion. Am I correct? That's.
We can certainly use any funds, any so we call surplus funds out of the motor vehicle parking system fund once this increase goes in, and that money can be used for the downtown revitalization.
But it's not guaranteed to be used for downtown, as you said.
We make it
unless we change it.
Yes, ma'am.
But by the same token, he can come request.
I'm sorry?
In other words, okay, it will not go into a downtown revitalization, but if there's a project, if there's a viable project that's coming, planning department can come and say, this is what we're looking at, and we're looking for funding, and it can come from the source.
Yes.
But it just won't be in that one account.
In other words, there's no money going out of that fund for general fund. General fund kicks in money into that fund to keep it above ground. We also are not charging for the collections that municipal court has for the overparking. That's municipal court is strictly paid out of the general fund. So there's a small amount there that.
I think the answer comes somewhere in this area. It would appear to me that once it's paid off, in other words, it's a self-sustaining system, and once you have any overages, that amount can be in the general fund. But I think maybe the option would be that if planning has any projects that they would wish that they would have first priority, with that, it seems like that would accomplish that particular, objective. I'm not sure.
I'd be willing to amend to that.
The only difference is that the downtown merchants don't have an equal voice unless they speak to the commissioners who happen to sit on the commission at that time.
Well, I don't think anybody should oppose a committee being formed through whatever source that they have, so that they have an advisory type of role. And I think it can work its way through. At least we can try it for a while, so that we can get all of our goals accomplished. That would be my thinking. Does anybody have any suggestions to offer? Okay, now, so let's make sure that we know what our motion is. It's basically an increase to 50 cents. You still have your 30-day pass. You have it going to the Motor Transportation Fund, and should there be an excess of what it is required to come out even for sustaining that particular system, then the planning department would be advised and then prioritize downtown. If they're good projects, that it would be prioritized for downtown revitalization efforts.
True.
Is that a fair motion? Is that
I just have one other comment, and it's related but not exactly the same thing. I shop downtown, and I want everyone to hear this, not because it's cheap, but because there are things downtown that I can't find anywhere else. And I thank you, the merchants, for providing those things downtown.
Okay. So will somebody adopt my motion? So moved by Commissioner, second by Mr. Villarreal. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for all their input. Appreciate it.
Item 10, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance